Have you ever gotten home with something you just bought, looked at it and thought, wait, why did I pick this one? We all like to think we're smart, logical shoppers, but the truth is our brains are a complete battleground of hidden forces pushing and pulling us in directions we don't even notice. So today, we're going to decode those forces. We're going to figure out what's really going on when we buy something. And sometimes it all starts with one really brutal piece of feedback.
Just imagine you're the CEO of a huge global company, and you hear that from your customers. Not in some private email, but blasted out in public for everyone to see. This isn't just some made-up example. That is a real quote from a real customer, and it lit the fuse for one of the riskiest, most incredible marketing turnarounds ever.
So back in 2009, Domino's did something that sounds completely insane. They launched this whole campaign that basically plastered these terrible customer reviews everywhere. They went out and told the entire world, you're right, our pizza kind of sucks. I mean, that sounds like corporate suicide, doesn't it? So why on earth would they do that? Well, to get the answer, we first have to understand the predictable and, let's be honest, often totally irrational way that all of us make decisions.
Look, it doesn't matter if you're buying a slice of pizza or a brand new car, your brain follows a surprisingly consistent path to get there. We're going to walk through the 5 stages that guide pretty much every single purchase you ever make.
So this is basically the map of your shopping brain. It all starts when you realize you have a need, right? I'm starving. Then you look for some info, you weigh your options. Should I get pizza or tacos? You finally buy the thing, and then later, you decide if you're happy about it. It seems super simple on the surface, but here's the catch. At every single one of these steps, our logical brain is getting hijacked by all sorts of hidden stuff.
Let's just zoom in on that information search part. You start with this giant ocean of every brand you can possibly think of. Then your brain starts filtering. It goes from everything down to the brands you're actually aware of, then to the ones you'd maybe consider, until finally you land on just 2 or 3 real contenders. Just think about how many brands got kicked to the curb in that process. For marketers, it is a brutal, brutal fight for survival. Their entire job is to make sure their brand makes it into that tiny little final group.
Okay, so how do you pick from that final little group? Well, for a big purchase, you might do some quick mental math that looks a little something like this. You weigh what's most important to you. Let's say memory is a huge deal, like 40% of your decision. So laptop C looks great on memory, right? It scores a 10. But hold on, look at laptop A. It's pretty good at everything. It's a solid all-rounder. And when you actually do the math, it squeaks out a win. The craziest part is, we do these complex calculations in our heads in just a few seconds, and we don't even realize we're doing it.
But here's the thing. That whole 5-step process, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It's being constantly pushed and pulled and shaped by these powerful forces all around us. Influences we might not even notice.
So think of it like this. Your choices are a product of these 3 big layers. Culture is like the operating system. It gives you all your basic values. Then you've got your social circle, your friends, your family, and they shape what you think is cool or not cool. And then finally, there's you. Your personal stuff, like your job, your age, how you see yourself, and that steers you towards things that just fit your life.
And you better believe the smartest brands know all about this. They create a brand personality. Take this hotel chain, Joy de Vivre. It's genius. They designed each hotel to feel like a different magazine. So one might be edgy and adventurous like Rolling Stone, and another is more classic and sophisticated. And what do? We pick the one that matches who we think we are. Or maybe more often, who we want to be.
Okay, so we've got the process, and we've got all the forces from the outside world. But to really get this, we have to go even deeper. We have to go inside the human mind. What are the psychological triggers that are actually making us do stuff?
Now, there are a ton of theories out there, but these are 3 of the big ones. You've got Freud, who would say you didn't really choose that fancy sports car. Some deep, unconscious urge you don't even know about did. Then there's Herzberg's theory, which is way more practical. He just said we're all trying to avoid bad stuff, like a terrible warranty, while trying to get good stuff, like a cool design. But maybe the most famous one for marketers is Maslow's.
Maslow laid out all our needs in this famous pyramid, and it's an incredible tool for understanding marketing. The idea is simple. You can't really worry about things like status or finding yourself if you don't have food and a safe place to sleep. So a fast food ad, it's aiming right for the bottom of that pyramid. But an ad for a luxury watch? That's aiming way, way up at the top, right at your ego. But this is where our brains get really weird. We don't just see the world as it is. We actually bend reality to fit what we already believe. It's called selective distortion. It is the reason why, in blind taste tests, people will swear on their life that the soda in the cup with their favorite brand's logo on it just tastes better, even when it's the exact same liquid as the other one. Your belief literally changes your perception of reality. It's wild.
So, okay. We've got the 5 steps, we've got the outside influences, we've got the psychology inside our heads. How does all this theory stuff get us back to a pizza company admitting its crust tasted like cardboard? Well, this is where it all clicks into place. Let's go right back to this gut punch of a quote. See, Domino's realized they didn't just have a recipe problem, they had a massive perception problem. People's experience after buying was negative. And because of that selective distortion we just talked about, even if they made a better pizza, people's minds were already made up. The brand itself meant bad pizza.
And that's why what they did was so brilliant. That whole campaign wasn't just about yelling, "Hey, we have a new recipe." No, it was a direct assault on people's perceptions. By being radically honest and agreeing with their critics, they built a massive amount of trust. They shattered those old, negative beliefs and forced everyone to look at them with fresh eyes. It was like they hit a giant reset button on the mind of every consumer.
And did it work? Well, this number pretty much says it all, 233%.
That's not just some random number. That was their stock growth in just 2 years after they launched that campaign. This was never just about selling more pizzas, it was about rebuilding trust on an epic scale. By listening, admitting they were wrong, and then actually delivering something better, they didn't just change minds, they created a whole new army of loyal fans.
So, the next time you go to buy anything, a cup of coffee, a new phone, anything at all, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, was that a purely logical choice based on just the facts and the price? Or was it about your culture, about who you want to be, about a brand personality that was perfectly designed to reel you in? What really made you choose it?